What's going on, YouTube? So there's no mistaking the boxy off-road beast we're in today.
Yep, that's the famous Jeep Wrangler. And for 2024, Jeep is bringing major changes to this refreshed model.
So, does this updated model stack up well against the Bronco? Let's go ahead and find out. All right, you guys know what time it is. It's time for the spec dump. So let's talk a little bit about what's under the hood. So this specific model, we have the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. It's making 270 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque, which is actually more torque than the standard 3.6-liter V6 that this model comes with. Now, of course, you do have some additional options going all the way up to the 6.4-liter V8 392 model.
As well as a plug-in hybrid option as
hybrid.
well. Now, as far as the transmission, it's a 6-speed manual, or you also have the option of an 8-speed automatic. As far as your fuel economy is concerned, it's an okay 22 miles a gallon combined for the 2-liter, or 21 miles a gallon combined with the 3.6-liter V6.
Now, this is a refreshed product, so we're going to go ahead and close up the hood and take a look at what's changed with the exterior design before we later go on a test drive and give you things like our signature sound level reading. Now, when you first walk up to this 2024 Wrangler, you might be wondering, what exactly is new? Well, it's a small revision. You wouldn't expect Jeep to mess much with an iconic shape like this, and they really didn't for 2024. You can also think of the Wrangler as something that is available to customize as you want. There's approximately 10,000 versions that you can get on this vehicle, so we're really just going to be showing off and focusing on this one. This is the Sport S trim level. So up here in the front, we've got a body colored grille design. Of course, you've got the signature 7 slats. No Jeep would be complete without that. And then our large chunky bumper is going to be finished in its entirety in this matte black plastic for a nice rugged look. Taking a look at our headlights. Most models will come standard with halogen headlights. However, most models also have the option of getting the LED headlights. As you can see, that is what we have. They look quite premium with the daytime running light that circles around them. Your turn signal indicator is going to be located over here. And then as far as our fog lights, it's the same deal as the headlights, standard halogens and available LEDs. Now, as we move around to the rear design, thankfully, Jeep hasn't really changed much. You still have that classic look. You have classic design things such as the exposed fuel cap over here on the side, as well as that signature boxy look.
Of course, and you do also have this big spare tire, which is pretty much the focal point of the rear design. But we will talk about the taillights and see if they've done anything for this 2024 refresh. We do have an incandescent brake light, reverse light, and turn signal. So none of the elements are going to be LED with this refresh as standard. That being said, you can option that onto the higher end trim levels of this Wrangler if you really must have the LED components. Now down here at the bottom, this is all going to be a beefy, rugged matte black plastic. Additionally, we have a 3,500 pound tow rating if you choose the trailering package.
Before we talk about the wheels, I do want to mention that ground clearance can range from 9.7 inches to 12.9 inches if you choose that top Rubicon X trim level. Now, onto the wheels. There's a lot of different choices here as well. We've got the 17-inch alloy wheels. Most models are going to come with the 17-inch alloy wheels. The largest wheel is going to be an 18-inch alloy wheel on the Sahara model. Obviously, all of them are going to come with all-terrain tires wrapped around them. Of course, moving up, you have your trail-rated branding as well as your Jeep Wrangler branding. And as far as the mirrors, you are going to have standard heating and power adjustment. Blind spot monitoring is an available option on pretty much all the trim levels.
Now at the side, Jeep is giving you a lot of different combinations that you can get this vehicle in. Of course, you can get the 2-door. We have the 4-door version. And if you choose this 4-door version, it's going to be 188.4 inches long, which is a very good size SUV, actually. Now, additionally, I want to talk about the different top configurations because Jeep owners like to go topless. So there are a lot of different ways that you can go topless in this product. We have the 3-piece hardtop. You have a soft top. There's 1,000 different ones that you can pick. The editor will go ahead and put that in there right now for you to see right on the screen. Now, as far as your safety systems are concerned, this is pretty easy for me because Jeep is including no safety systems as standard equipment on the Wrangler. You do get more airbags for 2024, so you're going to be slightly more safe. And then if you choose the Sport S trim level and above, you will additionally have forward emergency braking as standard equipment. Now, furthermore, there is a safety package available if you want to add in a few more of those active safety features. But guys, that's going to wrap up this refreshed Wrangler on the outside, but the bigger changes are on the inside. And
if you're new here, we're brothers, and we've been reviewing cars since we were 12
and 16. We may be young, but we love cars.
And we'd love for you to subscribe to be a part of our Car Confections family. Let's learn a lot, have some fun with all the latest cars.
And let's go ahead and move on to the interior. First, we'll take a look at our key fob. You do have a keyless entry system if you choose the Sport S trim level or above. This is the switchblade style key. And you just press unlock here to unlock the door, of course. And then taking a look inside the cabin. Arguably, this is where the most important changes are for the 2024 refresh because we have some updated technology and updated luxury for the cabin. But we're not going to talk about that quite yet. We're going to talk about first color and material options. So you do have standard cloth seats on all trim levels, as a matter of fact, with the choice between black or beige. On your upper end trim levels, you can choose to get an available leather. As far as the seats, as you can see, these are going to be manual adjusting seats with a lumbar support right there. But let's go ahead and climb inside. Now, getting inside here is not too hard. We do have a running board as well as a nice assist grip here on the driver's side. And the door has a nice sound to it when you shut it, and you have a little animation on the display. Let's talk a little bit about the overall materials. Now, this is far from the most luxurious trim level. As a matter of fact, it's the second from the base model, but we do still have some nice touches, including a little piece of leatherette over here on the door trim. Of course, this part's going to be hard touch. The upper part of the dashboard is going to be a hard touch plastic, but here in the center we have this new cloth insert, which I think looks quite nice in this color contrast gray with the stitching detail running through here. Nice handle for the passenger to hold on when you're going off-road, and then all the other pieces here are very nice and solidly put together. Now we do have a push button start, so just press it to fire it up. Now, like always, we'll move into a first-person perspective for a little closer look at some of the individual details of the cabin. First off, we have our gauge cluster. A nice, mostly analog setup here. We do have a approximately 4.2-inch multifunction display. In the middle, for your lower-end trim levels, you do get a larger display on the upper-end trim levels. And taking a look at the steering wheel, typical Jeep design here. You are going to have a urethane steering wheel, but just for the base model, if you choose anything except that, that's going to give you this premium leatherette wrapped steering wheel with the color contrast stitching detail. The wheel itself is going to be manual tilt and telescoping. Heating is available, but you will have to get the Sahara for that. Now let's turn over and take a look at storage. The center console here does open in two parts. Inside the deeper tier, you have plenty of space, quite deep. There's a USB inside of it as well. Let's take a look and fit our coupons in here. Oh yeah, they fit in there, no problem whatsoever. Plenty of space to spare. We could actually get a double stack. Up in front of that, you got your two cup holders, and there's not really much more storage besides for this little slit right here, which is not quite big enough for a cell phone. Now, taking a look at our gear selector, this is the automatic transmission model. As you can tell, you're just going to pull back for drive, bump over here to the left if you want to do some manual shifting. Of course, you got the little Jeep on top, which is pretty cute. And then when we go into reverse, you're going to see the standard backup camera up here. I don't know if it's turned off or not, but we don't have any active trajectory on this model. You can also get an available trail camera on your really off-road focus trim levels, such as the Rubicon. Then right next to that, you've got your four-wheel drive controls, and of course you have your handbrake. And of course, one of the more unique things about the Wrangler is the fact that the doors can be completely removed, so you have your window switches over here on the center part. Then of course we do have some more outlets right there. Now up above, pretty much all the trim levels will come with manual adjusted climate. So you just twist the knob, of course, to turn up the fan speed, and then you get your temperature adjustment right there, all physically located. looking very similar to that knob is your volume knob for the audio systems. So you do have a standard 8-speaker sound system and an available 552 watt 9-speaker Alpine system. We actually do have the optional Alpine system, so let's give it a sample. Yeah, overall sound quality is certainly an improvement over the standard sound system. All right, so now let's get into what is undoubtedly the biggest improvement of the interior, and that's this right here. This is a 12.3-inch display. And this is not just on your high-end trim levels. This is actually going to be standard in 2024 on all trim levels of this Wrangler lineup. Very nice and premium looking display. First off, the resolution is fantastic. Additionally, this is going to be running the newest version of Uconnect, so we're now on Uconnect 5.0. This has a lot better graphics, a lot better performance. So as you can see, we can switch between these different tiles very quickly. And overall, like I said, performance is quite nice. Wireless Android Auto and wireless Apple CarPlay are also included. Then wrapping up the interior, we do have a manual dimming mirror. And then up top, of course, you're not going to find a sunroof or anything. That's because you could just take the roof off completely.
Now let's check out the rear seat area for this Wrangler 4-door model. Now, first of all, I want to mention the rear doors. They open pretty wide, but if it doesn't open wide enough for your liking, I guess you could just fully take it off. So it would be a full just open area. Now, as far as the space is concerned back here, we do have a good amount. 38 inches of legroom, 40 inches of headroom, although same deal goes for the top. If you want to go topless, take that roof off, and then you have an unlimited amount of headroom. Now, as far as the space between my knee and the seat back, I did bring our bendy ruler, and I'm looking at about 6 inches of space behind Drew's seating position. I'm 5'9" for reference, he's 5'8", and I can slide my feet up underneath the seat, so I'd say I'm pretty decently comfortable in the rear seat of this Wrangler. Now here in the middle, we are going to have vents as standard equipment, which is very nice for a hot day like today. Our window switches are actually going to be integrated here in the center. I don't have any USB ports or anything on this particular model. I do believe that's available on the higher end versions of the Wrangler. I'm also missing out on a center armrest, but you can also get that on the higher versions. Up here at the top is where your speakers are integrated, because of course you can take that top off. And the door trim itself, let's take a look at that. It's going to be mostly hard touch material. Actually, yeah, everything besides the armrest portion is going to be a full hard touch. And then down at the very bottom, we do have this little pocket for us to store a few different items, including maybe bottles. Now let's check out the cargo area in this Wrangler. This is a good-sized SUV, so let's see how much cargo space you have. In order to open it, it's signature Jeep fashion, so you have the side opening tailgate here, and then you can lift the glass to fully open things up. And as far as the space is concerned in here, we're looking at 31 cubic feet of space behind the second row seats. We're looking at a little over 70 cubic feet as a maximum if we fold those seats down. I'm going to attempt to fold these seats down. Oh, that's a little bit easier than I thought. I'm not the tallest person ever. As you can see, they do fold 60-40 split folding. They actually are pretty flat with the cargo floor, which I'm pretty impressed by. And, of course, I did bring our measuring tape because at Car Confections, we want to have all the measurements for you guys so you don't have to go out to the dealer lot. Here we go. We're looking at exactly 69 inches of space, guys. It's a lovely figure. And what is also 69 inches of length, an average adult bicycle. So you could fit that perfectly fine in this Wrangler's cargo area, and you don't have to worry about anything hitting the roof because you can just take it fully off. As far as other things, we have a 12-volt outlet. If we lift the cargo floor up, we have a little bit of underfloor storage, and of course you have the full-size spare tire right here on the back.
Just like that, 60 miles an hour.
Pretty quick.
Yeah, I have to say this feels pretty quick on its feet. Now, like we mentioned at the spec dump, we do have the 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine. It's available, kind of as an option, more or less on par with the standard 3.6 liter V6, but the real advantage of this engine option is the fact that you have more torque and you get slightly better fuel economy. So, well, I guess I gave you two advantages of this 2.0 turbo.
Yeah, certainly you can feel the torque when you start accelerating. It really pushes you back in your seat. And as far as the actual numbers on that, it's going to be 270 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. Now, probably the engine that you guys are most familiar with would be the standard option on all of the models. That's a 3.6 liter Pentastar V6. That is going to be making 285 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque. So a little bit more horsepower for the V6, less torque. More torque when you choose this model, so it's just kind of be one of those things that you just pick what you choose. On the Sport S, it is a no-cost option to get this.
Yeah, I definitely like the wave of torque you feel when you get off the line. Now, as far as your transmission options, you can still get a manual transmission if you want that. 6-speed manual, that's pretty cool, but a lot of people are probably going to be choosing the 8-speed automatic like we have today. I would say most people are choosing that for sure. And this is a nice transmission as well. It's good and smooth, really shifts nicely as we are getting up to speed like you just saw.
Yeah, and it's a $2,500 option. So do be aware, if you don't know how to row your own, it's going to be a little bit of a pricey option checklist, that's for sure.
And that was our auto start stop system. Really good. No hesitation at all, so it's a good smooth system.
Now, I would be remiss to not mention that there are a ton of different powertrain options with this Wrangler. I believe Drew said it was 5 different options total. Of course, there is a plug-in hybrid. That's actually the most popular plug-in hybrid on the market right now, the 4xe model, which a lot of people are choosing. You do also have the 392 with the big V8s, so you really have the full gamut of engine options when you choose this Wrangler. It's, of course, going to depend on your budget because the prices only go up from here. All right, and I do want to talk about your ride quality in this Wrangler. Now, of course, that's not the main reason you buy this vehicle. If you want something really comfortable at this price point, get like a family 3-row. You definitely can feel the bumps when you go over some of the road imperfections. Additionally, the all-terrain tires definitely make some intrusion inside of the cabin. But those of you who are looking to buy a Jeep Wrangler, I don't think this is going to be uncharacteristically bad for you or anything like that. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is a truck at the end of the day, even though they keep, making this a little bit more and more refined as they go along with things like this display. It's still a truck at the end of the day. For off-roading. For off-roading. Really it's a tool, and as such, you're going to suffer a little bit in everyday livability.
All right, so I just got our signature Car Confections sound level reading for this Wrangler. It is certainly going to be on the louder side of things. 61.5 decibels is what I was sitting at for that reading, going 55 miles per hour on our designated strip of road. The thing about this vehicle is that since the top does remove, you're not going to have as wind tight and airtight of a cabin. That's not what people buy these for, once again. So it is going to definitely be on the louder end of things for SUVs in this segment. But I am still going to go to carconfections.com, where we have all of our sound level reading posted, and see how it compares to other SUVs in this price range. And indeed, that is going to be louder than the vast majority of its competition, that's for sure. Now, I do also want to talk about your fuel economy for this model. This is also not a focus, but I want to hit it in case you are curious about it. You're going to be sitting at 21 miles a gallon combined with probably the most common spec, which will be the 3.6 liter automatic. If you choose the 2 liter turbo automatic, which is what we have today, it's 22 miles a gallon combined, so 1 mpg better for choosing this model. There are, of course, different options available, including the plug-in hybrid. So if efficiency matters the most to you, then choose the plug-in hybrid. And you might even get a tax credit with it. I'll have to check on that, but you might even be able to qualify for a tax credit with this Jeep Wrangler model.
Now time for the Slam Dunk and Airball. I'll start with the Slam Dunk. That's going to be the 2024 update. This is such a classic formula. You don't really want Jeep to mess with things very much, and they just keep, I think, adding things that people would appreciate but doesn't compromise the overall package of the Wrangler. The big one is the display. I think that is something that a lot of people are going to really appreciate because it's a very nice display.
Yeah, and as far as our airball is concerned, it's just got to be the price. In 2024, the prices rise several $1,000s, and this was already an expensive option. We'll talk about the pricing in a dedicated pricing section coming up in just a few minutes, but this is a very expensive vehicle. There's no way you can cut it that this is actually like a really affordable SUV. And lastly here for your warranty, you're looking at a 3-year 36,000-mile basic warranty, 5-year 60,000-mile powertrain warranty. And let's talk pricing for this refresh 2024 Wrangler. So we're going to start at $35,895 for the base sport model. Now this is for the unlimited 4-door configuration, so do keep that in mind. Now there are about 1,000 trim levels of this vehicle. You end in the Rubicon 392, and that's $88,090 as a starting point. So you range from $30,000 to about $90,000 for this vehicle. Now that represents about a $3,000 to $4,000 price hike for the 2024 model year, and this particular model as tested today is about $50,000. And guys, that is all for our in-depth review of the 2024 Jeep Wrangler Sport S. If you enjoyed watching this video or found it helpful in your purchasing decisions, you know what? We would really appreciate a subscribe down below, because by subscribing, you help give us access to new vehicles on the market like this 2024 Wrangler that we can show you guys all the nitty-gritty details of. So please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. If you're already a subscriber and a part of this Car Confections family, thank you so much for your continued support, because you do make this all possible. We also have a TikTok and Instagram page, as well as an all-new carconfections.com website that we'd love for you to check out. Anyway, we'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.